Mimisiku is one of the last Wayana hunters. Wayanas are Amerins, or American Indians of Caribbean origin. They live in the immense tropical forests of French Guiana. Their territory runs all the way along Cayenne's Maroni River through Suriname to Brazil. It includes an immense forest in the heart of the Amazon that has not yet suffered from deforestation. This dense jungle is one of the largest tropical forests in the world. It shelters a large array of species particularly well adapted to heat and humidity. The region's dry season, which only lasts about 4 months, is often interrupted by intermittent showers. Insects infest the ground, while monkeys and birds stick to the treetop canopy. Wayanas are legendary hunters, but nature's little surprises can be unpredictable. Tom Thumb, Mimisiku's companion, continues to stalk his game after walking on a nest of wasps. Mimisiku simulates the cry of a monkey to attract its attention. His prey is often hidden in a bed of leaves 200 feet above him. Hunting, like fishing, has always been an important part of Wayana life, not out of pleasure, but necessity. The Wayana believe that they themselves are an integral part of their environment, and they only take from it what they need. If they shoot a monkey and it gets stuck in a branch, they cut down the tree to recover it. Not out of destruction. They just don't believe in taking life in vain. The Wayana depend on the forest for survival, and they know how to live off their land. They were the first inhabitants of French Guiana, and now they're the last of a vanishing culture. Several monkeys have already been caught, but the hunt isn't over yet. Mimisiku and his men head back upstream in search of iguana. Although the Wayana now have guns, they still use bows and arrows when low on ammunition, a traditional art that requires speed and agility. Monkeys, tapirs, and reptiles are Wayana favorites. Iguanas are also high in demand but hard to catch. They're good at camouflaging themselves from predators. Many people think that French Guyana has little fauna, but animals are everywhere. They're just hard to see. Wayana hunters know how to stake out game in the densest of vegetation.
I was born in Brazil's Jari province. And when I was about 11 years old, my parents and I moved to the banks of the Maroni River. They taught me how to track and kill wild game and how to recognize edible fruits and plants. They taught me which animals were taboo and couldn't be touched without offending the spirits, and how to avoid forest dangers such as snakes. That's when I learned that the larva found in wasps' nests was good to eat.
Mimisiku lives in Antekumpata, the largest Wayana village in French Guiana. Its 200 inhabitants are all descendants of one or two families. The village was named after its founder, André Cognac. His Wayana name is Antekum. Pata means village. André Cognac came to Mimisiku's village in 1961. He was taken in by the Wayana people and has since become a spokesman for their rights. He also tries to help his Amerind friends reap the benefits of civilization, such as modern medicine.
In 1967, I decided to move to French Guyana, and I created a village, Antekumpata. I've been here ever since. I thought that in creating a village, I could serve as an intermediary between two types of lives. And in that way, I could give them something. It will never really compare to what they've done for me, and will continue to do for me for the rest of my life. But I try to help in my own way.
Despite André's efforts to preserve the Amerind way of life, outside influences are more and more present. Government regulations now require the Wayana to carry identity papers, and state officials make regular visits to fill out official forms. French nationality isn't what attracts the locals most. It's the government's monthly subsidized income. André Cognac and others fighting to defend Wayana independence accuse the government of trying to integrate the Amerinds into modern life rather than preserving their cultural heritage.
Nowadays it's obvious. There are people who would ask, why apply for French nationality? They would answer, because they told us in Mari Pasula that it was the only way to get money. I believe that people all over the world, especially those in French Guyana, need and should be helped, but not blindly. Making people dependent on public assistance is purely and simply not a satisfactory answer. When I arrived, I discovered a proud people, and I'm not only talking about Amerins. I'm talking about the Wayana and people from Maripasula, the Boni, who were very proud of who they were. Some of these same people now depend on a check at the end of each month for survival. These were people who lived off the land, their land. Many have come to depend on cans of pork and beans and frozen chicken for survival. It's a real shame.
Traditionally, state education was not compulsory in Antekumpata. But conscious of the inescapable advances of the modern world, André Cogna and the village elders decided that the children needed an education to decide the course they wanted their lives to take. Classes are given in the morning, and the children's only requirement is to wear their kalimbe, a linen cloth made of traditional red material. Afternoons are reserved for games and hunting. Ancestral knowledge was once important to each and every Wayana. Today, many prefer watching television and will later leave for the city to find a job. Those who stay leave a slight glimmer of hope for survival of the Wayanas' culture.
I hope that many of our young will become leaders and understand what needs to be done, even if they're confronted more and more with the Western world. There are some good things to be learned from the outside world, and there are some things that they shouldn't lose, because the day they lose these things, the Amerins will no longer exist as a race. They'll disappear from the map. In some ways, that's what's happening.
The Wayana are excellent craftsmen. Kulyaman, one of the oldest members of the village, makes roofs for his people's bungalows. His work is done in the tradition of his ancestors, a naive design that decorates the ceilings of the huts. Like many other villages, slash and burn harvest is common. Each family has a small plot of land. Mimisiku works with his wife. Together they grow bananas, manioc, and sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are used in the making of kashiri, a local alcohol. The land is so poor that it can only handle 2 successive harvests at a time. According to Amerind history, the Upului, hunters and fishermen, joined the Wayana, a group of simple farmers, during the 18th century. Today, we can see a clear mix. Wayanas believe that Kuyuli created man and earth. He rules over a second sky with the moon and stars. Our sky, however, is said to be ruled by shrewd, cunning spirits. At the end of the day, Mimisiku sits by the fire and makes arrows. A portion of the arrows will be used for hunting. The rest will be sold in Cayenne to buy fuel and ammunition. Oloks are headdresses with macaw feathers, worn by the Wayana in marake ceremonies. Marake is the name given to initiation rites that mark the different stages in the life of a Wayana. Ants or wasps are placed on the initiate's body to test the individual's courage and ability to resist pain. During the event, women serve kashiri and dancers dressed in red kalimbe and pearl necklaces sing and dance. Mimisiku went through 3 marakes in his life, but today's youngsters refuse to go through this ordeal, and so the tradition has disappeared. This morning, Mimisiku will leave with a group of men on a caiman hunt that will last several days. They'll follow the course of the Maroni River, the longest body of water in French Guyana, and penetrate deep into the forest. The river, 4 kilometers in width at times, alternates between forceful rapids and calm currents. It crosses an Amoran territory once called Litani, which was later changed to Lawa and finally Maroni. Since the arrival of professional hunters, the Wayana have been forced to go further and further inland to find caiman. It takes 2 days through currents and tortuous paths to get upstream. The group then awaits nightfall to begin the hunt. The caiman's eyes reflect off the hunter's flashlight and betray their presence. Mimisiku and his men don't want to scare away their prey. They have to be patient. The Wayana only hunt caiman of a certain size. The weapon used, gun or arrow, is chosen according to the size of the animal. After the first night, yesterday's catch is cut up and cooked in water before being smoked. Going this far into the wild is a real expedition for these hunters. Fuel is expensive and pirogue motors consume quite a bit. Mimisiku and the others have no time to rest. They work non-stop to catch as many as possible in order to meet the needs of their families and friends. It's traditional among Amorans to share the bounty of the land. As soon as the hunt is over, they'll smoke the game and head for home. The second hunt is even more delicate. Mimisiku lassos a live caiman with a rope attached to a pole. The animal must be handled with care. It's still alive and very dangerous. The animal's powerful jaws are difficult to keep open, but easy to keep closed. Once captured, it's bound with liana. The animal is taken alive so that it can be conserved longer in the village reserve. In recent years, hunting has been regulated to save animals threatened with extinction. But in most cases, the laws are too recent and poorly enforced to discourage poachers. They often kill caiman on Amerind territory, forcing the Wayana to go further and further inland to hunt. For Mimisiku and his tribe, hunting is not for pleasure, but for survival. The Wayana know the value of their treasures and only take from the land what they need to survive.
I respect nature, and I'm proud of who I am, but I think that I'm among the last of the Wayana hunters.
Even if Mimisiku and all the other Wayana in French Guiana take advantage of Western technology, they refuse to forget their past. They have a rich cultural heritage that needs to be preserved for future generations.